How's it going? How's everybody's COVID hair? Pretty solid. It's about 4 months worth. Today, we're going to attempt to make sushi. 2 types of rolls. The classic California roll and the spicy crab roll. Now, I'm gonna admit, I had to do a few test runs on this because I figured the rolling would be so hard. And it was. Allegedly, I cursed a few times. What? Multiple times. If I was pressed on the details of whether I cursed or not, I would say something similar to Jack Nicklaus in A Few Good Men. You damn right I did! Because rolling these things turned out to be very frustrating. So these rolls are very simple, good for a beginner. We literally bought a sushi kit to try to do this. We got the mat, and that's the basics for rolling. But the rolls really just consist of a rice, a seaweed bed, and then whatever you want to put in it. In this case, there's going to be avocados, imitation crab meat for the California roll, and cucumbers. And then we'll mix up a little spicy dish for the crab roll, which will just be actual crab, a little mayo, and some sriracha sauce. And then we'll roll that up and see how it goes. All right, let's get rolling on this thing. Bing! Irashimasu. I actually had to look that up because whenever you go into a sushi restaurant, the chef shouts something out, and I never knew what it was, but essentially means welcome to the restaurant. So, first beer of the day is going to be Sapporo, for obvious reasons. Japanese beer. Refreshing, light, easy to drink with sushi. Time for sushi. So apparently the California roll is a much disputed roll with several chefs in North America taking credit for it, some in Los Angeles area and one in the Vancouver area. What seems to be consistent is that the North American palate didn't particularly enjoy the sushi bed on the outside, and that's why you see the rice on the outside of a California roll, which is a non-traditional Japanese way of doing rolls. It's really a North American way. So just a little bit of trivia for you. All right, let's go roll some sushi. Irashimasu. On this first roll, we're gonna use a full sheet of nori, which you see there. Nori is code word for seaweed. In doing this, I found it easier to sort of start in the middle and push outward, still refining that technique. At first, I was smashing it down with a spoon, and it would get real gummy, so you just kind of want to press it outward with your fingers. And just keep working it outward till you get all that nori covered. Now examine closely as I make my first critical mistake. And I place the ingredients on the rice. I just got done telling you a few minutes ago that the North American palate prefers the rice on the outside, yet here I am putting the ingredients on the inside. It really makes no difference other than a visual reference. You'll see the seaweed on the outside of the roll versus the rice. It's actually easier to roll. For some reason, it's easier to get it tighter with the nori on the outside of the roll. It's my preference now. You really gotta try to squeeze those ingredients in there and get that front edge of the nori up and then start squeezing. I'm pretty ham-fisted, pretty ham-handed as I do this. It's tough. So there's got a good edge there, and then we'll just start rolling it into its final form. You'll notice that some of the filling will start to squeeze out the sides, so you just kind of push those back in, tuck those back in as you go. then we'll cut this thing up. One critical component of this is making sure the knife is wet in between each cut, and you just want to saw back and forth rather than press down. These things are pretty delicate. And as I mentioned, you'll see the nori on the outside. It's just a different visual look to it. I think it makes it easier to roll and tastes exactly the same. This second roll is another California roll, but you notice I flip the rice to the underside so that the rice will be on the exterior of the roll. And then it's done just about the same. And then the end result is just a little different in that you get the rice on the outside. This last roll is a spicy crab roll. You'll notice that I'm only using a half sheet of nori, so it's only half as long. You really have to get the crab meat stuffed in there and use just a little bit less. And then again, just get that nori folded over to that front edge, squeeze backwards, do the same thing. Folks, it's a challenge to find the right words to describe what I just saw right there with that sushi. Carnage, murder, desecration, horrificness, is that a word? We mauled down that sushi. Now it's a challenge trying to make these videos while preparing the food, cooking the food, and trying to film at the same time. Sometimes it can get a little disjointed, but we mowed down that sushi. I'm way out of my comfort zone here. This is my, I guess, second time trying to roll these things. They turned out decent. Still got a lot of work to do, but man, it's fun. It tastes legit. I mean, it really tastes good, but the rolls are still a little bit loose. Need a little bit refinement on the technique, but man, that's fun. And that's what it's all about. Get out there, get yourself connected with the real world, get out of that digital world, and just do something that's requires competence with your hands. Cheers, everybody. Have a good one.